Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Friday morning builder call. I'm glad to be with you today. This is Debbie Gordon, and I'm excited to talk with you today and share some of my thoughts and hopefully some inspiring tidbits, and then hear from you, of course. Something I've been working on lately for me personally is creating value. I have found that those that I'm working with don't seem to grasp the vision of what we're doing with doTERRA in creating a wellness lifestyle. And so I've been really working on creating value and getting away from explaining facts of how things work and back to what it really does for me. And so I want, as you do your shares this morning, your wins for the week, I want you to incorporate that concept. What are you noticing when you talk with people and you create value with this product in the regards of what it does, what benefits you have from it? How does that help you? Let me give you an example. I had a call this week with one of my dear doula friends. Oh my gosh, I so admire this woman, and she's done tremendous work, and she has done actually more births over the last few years than I have, even though I've been working with childbearing women for probably 3 times the amount of time that she has. So she's been a very, very busy doula, has done a lot of doula trainings, anyway, she got started with, I actually did a class with her one night teaching other doulas. She asked me to come share about essential oils, so I did that. And afterwards, she wanted to talk to me about her sons, her youngest boy who's 5. She wanted to talk to me about some of his health concerns and get some of my feedback on that. And so we met one-on-one. And at first, she came to just be scanned, have him scanned, and just go pick up a couple of oils. That's all she wanted. And over the course of time, as I shared with her during that intervention or during that one-on-one, as I shared with her what I am about with doTERRA as a wellness advocate, and that I would partner with her to help her feel comfortable and confident reaching for these products first, because she is very naturally minded. There was a shift that happened. And so I had talked to her about the first page of the Natural Solutions handout, and she just wanted to be scanned. She wanted to hurry up and get out of there. She had been camping all week with her family. She lives now in North Carolina, and she had come into Utah for this event that we were doing together, and then to do a camping trip. Anyway, so she was in a bit of a rush with her mindset. So as I went downstairs to pick up the 2 oils that she thought she wanted to buy, I actually opened up the Natural Solutions handout and said, and I had said 2 or 3 times prior to that, Angie, as you partner with me, not if, she was getting her oils occasionally from somebody else, and she knew very little. And so I said, as you partner with me, I'm going to provide you with ongoing education and support. And so as I went downstairs, I opened up the Natural Solutions handout to the kids, and I said, I want you to take a look at these options to get started with while I go downstairs and get those oils that you want. So I went downstairs, and when I came back upstairs with a couple of oils, honestly, that's all she said she wanted. She asked me about the Natural Solutions kit, and I said, that is a fabulous starter kit, and it's our most popular kit because it's a lifestyle change kit. And so to make a long story short, Angie enrolled that day with the Natural Solutions kit while taking with her the 2 oils that she wanted to take with her that night. She knew this was going to be shipped, and she was on her way. This was a Thursday, and she was on her way back to North Carolina on Saturday. And so she just wanted me to ship it to her home and give her these 2 oils that she wanted right now, and she would pay for those. And I gave her a Modern Essentials book as she enrolled with a Natural Solutions kit. And so at any rate, we started talking about that. And so over the course of the next several weeks, Angie was working on her master's degree, and so she was traveling. She went out to Washington State from North Carolina, spent about 2 weeks there working on her master's. And I'm not sure of her program, only that she's really in love with her program. She's going into health administration. She's already got another bachelor's degree, and so this would be a master's for her. Well, anyway, so she participated in all the July BOGOs, not all of them. She bought probably 3 of the 5. She participated in the BOGO sale from a distance, had me get on her account and order it for her while she was working in doing her classes for her master's program. So we finally caught up this last week on Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. We finally caught up with each other and did a lifestyle overview. And she's been enrolled now for about 6 weeks, I think, and had started playing with her oils. And she was really loving playing with her oils, but she wanted to learn more. And as I talked with her, we talked about some of her specific health concerns for her and her family. And we really actually honed in mostly on her. We had talked about our family when she was here in my home. And so one of the things that came up was since January, she has gained 10 pounds. She hasn't had any birth doula work out there in North Carolina. So she's been doing postpartum doula work. So she's been going in at night, working night shifts, 3 or 4 nights a week. And she commented that she had gained 10 pounds since January, and she had done nothing different. She has a very active, healthy lifestyle. She really does. On a scale of 1 to 10, she rated herself an 8.5 on eating, and I think a 9.5 on exercise. And so she really does work on. And she says, "I sleep good when I sleep, Debbie, but I'm working 3 to 4 night shifts a week." And I said, "Yeah, you kind of mess with your circadian rhythm, but we do that as doulas." And she said to me, she says, "As doulas, we get used to not having as much sleep as most people." And that is true. And I made the comment to her, "Angie, that is why I do doTERRA as a business. Because I see the writing on the wall that I cannot continue losing sleep for the rest of my days. And the older I get, the more important my sleep gets." And so I said, "Have you used the Serenity that came in your kit, as we talked about? Have you used that for sleep?" And she goes, "Oh, Debbie, I really do. I use the Serenity, I use the lavender, and I use it for all of my children. And it's really helping us sleep better." But she said, sleeping is not an issue. It's just how much sleep I don't get. And so she says, "Yeah, I've got to think about that. That's why I'm doing my master's, is because I can see that I can't do this doula work forever." And doulas typically have about a 5-year burnout rate. And so they do it for 5 years, they get into health issues, and they stop, okay? That's typically the burnout rate. Now, I've been doing this for a very long time, much longer than 5 years. But in the course of our conversation led to, and the next step is to go through the share guide with you. And then the next step after that is the build guide. I told her that. I said, "I do this with all of my enrollments. I just want to see what's in it for you." And so we've got another appointment on Tuesday to go through the share guide. I really believe Angie will be a sharer because she's very much a learner. She's very much a wellness advocate by nature. And so I'm really excited to show her this and see what's in it for her. I have no expectations because she's doing her master's training, right? But it was interesting to put it out there and put the value out there that, I know that I'm planning for my future as I build my doTERRA business, because I cannot sustain this lack of sleep for the rest of my life, or I'm going to have major health problems. And doTERRA has helped me with those health concerns that I had. And I feel actually really, really good. So at any rate, I want you to share your wins for the week. But as you share your wins, I want you to think about how you have ponder back, go back in retrospect and ponder how you have created value as you've shared the doTERRA products, if you share the doTERRA opportunity. I want you to share that with me. So go ahead and share your wins for the week and how you've incorporated that value as you've done that. So maybe not. Maybe Dana, are you able to share? Sue, or Sue Jen? I don't know why I call you Sue Jen. Jen, are you able to share? Any thoughts come to mind about that?
I'm trying to think of that exactly what you're saying, and I don't have anything at this time. I do downplay the sales part, and I do try to make it a little more, if this is something you need, tell them how it works for me. And then, but I like it. I mean, I just haven't done it yet. I haven't done
So
that
I'm going
yet.
to talk to you for just a minute, Jen. Your college daughter settled in Dixie. And so I want you to talk about the fact that you set her up with a wellness lifestyle, right?
Right.
Now using the products, and you've got a diffuser in her apartment, and she's got some of the products, correct?
Right.
So you've created value for your college daughter that goes to school with this lifestyle, right?
Right.
So I want you to think about that for a minute, because you do more than you think you do. And that's what my emphasis is today, is to show you how you're already doing it, and now you're going to do it consciously.
Okay.
Okay. So think about how she uses the products and what products she uses and what products she couldn't be without as you drive away and leave her at college.
Yeah. I know those ones.
Okay, share those with us.
Lemon. She always has to have lemon in her water. She has a hydro. She just got a new one the other day, and she just needs lemon all the time. Digestin. She is one that will. She just will get herself into predicaments and then gets herself all wound up, and so Digestin is really good for her. I also did. I'm trying to think of the ones that I gave her specifically. Peace, balance. She's one that I have to say, okay, when things get crazy, I'm not going to be there. So you need to put balance on, you need to get focused, and you need to do what you need to do. And it was funny because when I was getting her that, when I got her that diffuser, my 15-year-old son was like, I want one. And I said, I got you one. I got you the more masculine one. It's coming with the harvest.
Very good.
And so he's like, oh, okay, great. I'm so excited. And so each one of my kids need different things. Now that you say that, a lady posted something about her son not digesting well. She was going to a bunch of GI specialists, and I asked her if she had used Digestin, and she said, yep, I've done all that. She wants to go to the doctor, but she wants a pill and go to the doctor. And I said, well, that is just really tough because my Nash had that. And that is really tough. And I'm sorry. And she was like, thank you. But kind of just cut off the sales. Like, I'm not trying to sell this to you. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to help you. And so if that's not what you want, that's okay. That's okay. But I also have a neighbor who did the same thing to me. Nope, I don't want anything with those oils. I did it. I ordered a bunch and I don't use them. I said, okay, I let it go. Then just 2 days before we left, she came to my house. I need some oils. You do? And so she was talking to me about how she's having hair loss. And the doctors were telling her she had to buy this cream to get the cells move. I don't know. But I said, it sounds like it's a cell problem. You might want to go on the vitamins. That might be the problem. And she was like, do you think? And luckily for me, her hairdresser is also in doTERRA. Doesn't sell, but comes to all my events, loves it. And I said, why don't we ask Allison and see what she says? And Allison said she needs the vitamins. I'm like, okay, well, there you go. So like you said, value is a big deal. And I think the biggest thing is not, oh, come on, you really want these. You definitely want these. Like you said, you went downstairs and got the 2 oils. I guess I do that more than I realize, that I'll just say, okay, no problem. But then when they need something and the doctors can't do it, then I get the call, Jen, can you come and take care of this? Or Jen, do you have something for this? Or so, yeah.
Yeah. So now you're going to be conscious about it.
Right.
Of creating value. And what was life like before doTERRA for you? Or since you started on the Lifelong Vitality Pack and the DDR Prime, what was life like before that versus now? What is life like now?
It's funny because I'll see people do it all the time. It's that I don't know what to do next. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know, like something, I don't know what I need to do. And it's people looking for answers, and it's a lot. Usually when people come to doTERRA, it's not one thing. By the time they get to us, they've gone through doctors, they've gone through other things. And so it's all these things. I can't do any of this stuff. Okay, hold on. Let's get you on the vitamins. And then we'll start taking one thing at a time. Sleep. Is that your next thing that's okay. Pain. Okay. So we'll just do that. But I always go to the vitamins and say, that's going to give you the base. Your vitamins are going to wipe out the base, and then you're going to be able to pinpoint. But it's usually a hot mess. It's usually a ton of things going on. Fix all these things. Okay, hold on. So
Jen, I want to ask you, how successful are you at getting everybody on the Lifelong Vitality Pack that you enroll?
Everybody talks about it. I still have my older group. I have an older group, the 70s ish, and they're slow going. They like their doctors. They like what they have. But I've got my mom, which is nice because my mom will say, you can take as long as you want. You're just going to sit in your own mess. Why don't you get started? Well, get it going. And I think that's it. So I do okay with it. I do okay with it. I just had a class at my mom's where that's what we talked about. And Wendy had a good idea for me to order the packets and
Yeah.
then give those to them. And so I thought, you know what, I might do that. I might just get a thing of those packets. And I do a welcome packet when they join. But maybe I'll do that as a second month kind of a thing. Like, we'll see.
Very good. Very good. The only issue is that everybody has a little bit different response to that. Some will notice it immediately and some won't notice it for a few weeks. And
Right.
it's like, how much do I sample? But the daily
Right.
packs are a great option to sample with.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, still working through that one. I'm not sure, but whenever it comes back to things, every chance I get, and I'll ask my mom, she'll be there. We're going to go to San Diego next weekend. My mom's
Awesome.
coming with me,
Oh,
and
awesome.
there's a lot of older people. Again, people. When I say older people, they're not that much older than me, but their bodies are older. Their bodies are more have been worked over, and so I'll just bring her with me and just talk about how, this is the base, and I'll say, Mom, what do you think about this? And she's like, it's the vitamins.
Yeah.
And so then I hand them off to her and go to the next one.
Very good. And I love that, when you say they're not much older than I am, but their bodies are
Yeah.
older than mine. And you know what, when the Lifelong Vitality Pack on the box, it says live younger, longer. And I really believe we can accomplish that with the nutrients that are in the Lifelong Vitality Pack. We really can make that happen. So great things coming your way. I'm excited for you. Excited for the San Diego trip. So very good. Dana, how have you created value as you've shared doTERRA? And now that you're even more aware of it, how will you create value going forward?
Well, I was thinking about, like, I have to say more often I'm enrolling people right away with the vitamins than I used to enroll. And just because I know that's where they're going to see the results at.
Yeah.
I mean, you add a few oils and, fix a few things quickly, but it doesn't give you the long-term fix that people really seek. And so I find that, the vitamins are the best option. So yeah, that's where I like to kind of bring in that value, like what Jen said, that, we definitely need to go to your foundation first, and then let's see what shows up after that.
Very good. Very good. I love that too. And so, what we have put it out there to doTERRA that we need a nutrition kit like the Healthy Habits kit as an enrollment kit. We're working on that. I really believe it's going to come. I was hoping that it would come before convention. I don't know if it will or not, because we're 2-3 weeks from convention now. So it will probably be announced at convention, but I'm going into convention with my fingers crossed that they are going to announce the Healthy Habits kit as an enrollment kit. Okay, so let's go with our fingers crossed, because if we can start somebody off on a basic kit and get them on the nutritionals right off the bat, then we're going to see some really great things with their health, and then we can educate them and support them as they learn how to use essential oils for their overall wellness. So I'm excited about that. So really great things. So going forward, really work to share what life was like before versus after, so that you can create value for how they're going to feel. Okay, how they're going to feel as they use our products. I messaged a gal this morning. Now, I worked with another gal that recently, and she enrolled with only the Lifelong Vitality Pack. That was her enrollment, because she had lost her hearing a few years ago, and she couldn't smell any of the oils that I brought out. And so there was no value there for her with the oils, as much as I talked about what they would do for her and her family. And of course, she had 2 little children with her, which was a really great thing, because they loved the smell of the aroma of the oils. And they used them. So I put a drop of peppermint on her hand, and she swiped her tongue, and she couldn't taste anything, but she felt a coolness in her mouth where her children could taste it and they'd tell her about it. And then she put it topically, and she couldn't smell anything, but she could feel a cooling sensation where she put it topically. And so it was an interesting thing, but she started only with the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And I just messaged her this morning to see how she was feeling on the Lifelong Vitality Pack and follow up with her. So, really, truly, if we're looking for a wellness lifestyle change, that as wellness advocates, that's what we're promoting. We're not selling a bottle of oil or a bottle of Breathe, or even just the Lifelong Vitality Pack, but we're sharing a wellness lifestyle where they can feel younger, longer, and feel better overall. I've been working with an Ayurvedic health coach recently, and it's been really interesting. She got me onto celery juicing, and that's been an interesting phenomena. I didn't notice anything for the first 4 weeks. And now, since then, I've noticed a real clean out job. I was like, gosh, was I so plugged up that I wasn't even aware of it? I've been doing the 30-day cleanse with it. And 30-day cleanse hasn't even phased me with the celery juice. The celery juice is more, I've noticed that the GX Assist, usually I feel like I've got the flu. I haven't had that since I've been juicing celery. So that's been a really interesting experience that, gosh, the celery juice is really cleaning me out, and then the GX Assist can go in there and take down whatever else is in there. And so it's been a really good combination for me. But at any rate, I've noticed that I feel great. She keeps asking me, how are you feeling? I'm like, I feel great. I feel great. There's one day this last week where I was like, oh, I missed my Lifelong Vitality Pack. I forgot to take it this morning, and I'm feeling like I need an afternoon nap. So I do notice that. And so the wellness lifestyle of living younger, longer really is available to us. And so let's put it out there and create some value as we go forward. Another thing I wanted to share today, let me share my screen here. So many of you have heard me talk about Deb Erickson. And I have been working with Deb Erickson for about 2.5 years now. Actually, I think it might be going on 3. Anyway, at least 2 years, maybe 3. Okay. But at any rate, this last Monday, in her Monday mindset class, which was so exceptional, I absolutely learned so much from that. And I know, Dana, you were on that call too. Really great information. So Dana, I want you to play in here for a minute, because I know you did this with your team. But this is the cycle she talks about with regards to mindset, and that we have these built-in core beliefs that sometimes we're consciously aware of and sometimes we're not. And that they spur our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, our results. And so very often when we're hitting a wall and we're not moving forward, or we're not progressing at the rate or the desired results that we want, we have to go back to core beliefs. We can't just tweak a few things here and change our results. We really have to go through our thought process and our emotions, and that spurs our actions and therefore our results. And so, Dana, would you talk with us a little bit about your take home from this conversation with Deb Erickson?
Yeah. So what really hit me is I listened to this call, and then I was preparing for my team call that night and going through the sales guide with the sales cycle. And anytime that you're not completing your sales cycle in the way that you want it to, you've probably had somewhere in this creation cycle here that you've derailed. And so oftentimes it does come back to the core belief. And so we need to go back and evaluate, because if you're not actually closing your sales, then you might have a core belief that says, that I'm a bad person if I sell to people, or whatever that might be. And then how she kind of put it is that if you go back in and retrain your brain, that you can get the results you want. And then something else that kind of my takeaway too was that I get wore out when I'm not working in my zone of genius. Mm-hmm. And so you can push through and duplicate what somebody on stage at convention did to hit diamond. But after a while, you're going to be wore out because you're not working in your natural gifts and talents. You're just duplicating their actions, but you're really not duplicating their beliefs. And so her suggestion was to go back in and listen to the speakers at convention and really hear what their core beliefs are, because at that point, if you can duplicate their core beliefs, you can get to the results. And if you look backwards on the creation cycle, results comes back to core beliefs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good. And so good, very good point. And so anytime we're not able to, I always step back after every interaction, after every enrollment, after every phone call, Zoom call, one-on-one, whatever it is, I always step back and evaluate myself and say, okay, what might I have changed or done better? What do I want to correct the next time I talk with somebody? did I get the result that I had hoped for them? And honestly, you got to go into these one-on-ones without any expectations in some regard. But if you go in without any expectations, you're not going to get anything, right? So you do have to have an intention, an intentionality to your interactions with people for certain. And so I expect everybody will enroll. I do. I go into every interaction expecting they're going to enroll. And so, for instance, this lady that I was talking about, I had no idea when I set the one-on-one with her, I had no idea that she didn't have a sense of smell until she sat on my couch and I opened the first bottle of oil. I had no idea. She hadn't shared that with me yet. And so my intentionality changed a little bit. Oh, well, how do I tweak this? But honestly, I still was sure she would enroll. And I got to tell you, had I had a Healthy Habits kit, I believe she would have fallen for the Healthy Habits kit. Okay. And so she went for the Lifelong Vitality Pack, but because she didn't have a sense of smell, the oils didn't have any value to her. She thought it was all about aroma. And I kept saying the chemistry is going to be the same, whether you smell it or not, as we talked about her specific concerns. And so it was interesting as I stepped back from that. What could I have done better? You know what? I was, for a moment in time, I was thrown for a little bit of a loop when somebody didn't have a sense of smell. So guess what's going to happen the next time I have somebody that doesn't have a sense of smell? It's not going to throw me for a loop. I'm going to be totally prepared for it, right? And so each of these little experiences go for our good, whether we end up with the ideal outcome that we desired or not. They go for our good. But I really believe Aubrey's going to experience a fabulous result with the Lifelong Vitality Pack if she will take it religiously every day. And Aubrey doesn't eat well. She eats maybe once or 1.5 times a day. She started with she doesn't usually eat till 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was trying to work with her on that. Well, I'm going to encourage that you take this with food. And so on your way to work, when you're taking that shake, even if it's just a couple of swallows of your shake that she makes every morning and sometimes doesn't drink it, take your vitamins with those couple of swallows, okay, of your protein shake. And so it was an interesting conversation. And so I look forward to working with her more and moving her into a wellness lifestyle over time, perhaps not initially because she has no concept of what essential oils even means without the sense of smell. So at any rate, interesting thoughts. Okay. So, all right. So Deb Erickson has a training going on right now with Money Mindset. That's phenomenal. I do highly recommend her as a coach for anybody and everybody. She's very, very good with women. So I'm going to put a little plug in for Deb Erickson with ICANN Institute. If you want to know more about that, get back with me, private message me, but consider those options. Okay. All right. Another thing I wanted to talk about was she, in this Money Mindset, she is sharing, let me change my screen here for just a minute. She is sharing she has gone around to a lot of very successful people in network marketing, specifically women is who she works with, to find out what do they do, what mindsets do they have that help them be successful. And so that's a really important thing. And so I'm going to share one of the things I pulled up, because as soon as she shared that on Monday, I went and found the list of 15 things that she had made that talked about how these women in network marketing have been successful. And I think it's worth bringing up and commenting on in order to have a bit of a moving forward process. Okay, so hang on one second while I bring that up. I thought I could turn right to it, and I'm not turning right to it, so hang on. Let me find it here. Okay, here we go. Welcome, Chelsea. Good to have you on here. So here is her 15 points here, okay, of top producing women in network marketing. These are their belief systems, their mindset. I believe I can set and achieve my goals. Now, Deb talks about I can, I will, I am in most everything she does. And I believe that it starts with that. I can, I will, I am. So these first three, I believe I can set and achieve my goals. I will do what is required every day. I am enough. And then she goes forward. I am responsible for my own success. One of the things she talked about on our call Wednesday was responsible. Take responsibility. Something that I have taught, and I think I did a little Facebook Live on this, I have taught for a long time to my boys, to my children. Life's not fair. Just get used to it. And boy, did Deb Erickson set me straight on that on Monday. she said, repeat after me, life is fair. And she had us write it down 2 or 3 times during the course of that call on Monday. Life is fair. I get out of life what I put into it. I am responsible for what I get out of life. So I am essentially responsible for whether I see life as fair or whether life comes to me as fair or not, is because of my own actions and reactions. So she says that I am responsible for my own success. I believe that I am bigger than any problem. I always choose to think big. I have decided to be wildly successful. I control my focus. I choose to be optimistic. I believe that what I seek is seeking me. I admire successful and wealthy people. I always seek win-win solutions. I put myself in the energy of receiving. I have made fear my friend. I am committed to constant growth. I am a master at managing my mindset. So this discussion was really interesting as I looked over these core beliefs. And I sent this out to all my leaders. So I know, Dana, you got it, and Chelsea, you got it. But I did get some feedback as I sent this back up. And so I want you to look over this for a minute. And I want you to give me some feedback, but I want you to let me know if any of those 15 beliefs are uncomfortable for you. I want you to look at that for a minute. And then I want you to pipe in here if any of those are uncomfortable for you. Okay, so keep looking at that, keep thinking, share when you're ready. But if we read that list backwards and we start at the bottom, this is something that hit me personally. This is one of my take homes in this. I am a master at managing my mindset. If I don't manage my mindset, what's going to come forward? What's going to come forward? I'm going to be in fear. I'm not going to be growing consistently. I'm not going to be putting out the right kind of energy. I'm not going to creating a win-win situation in every interaction. I'm not going to be finding successful or wealthy people, period. I am the master of my mindset. And so it really is important that we take charge of our core beliefs and do some tweaking to change our mindsets and to embrace other thought processes that are more effective, to recognize our limiting beliefs so that we don't get stuck in them. And so I really found that interesting. I am the master at managing my mindset. When I become the master, then look what else is I'm going to get. I'm going to get everything above that. And so that's how important it is to set out our mindset. So what other thoughts come to your mind as you read this? Is there anything there that's uncomfortable? If I'm not moving through fear, I'm not going to be growing. I'm not going to be progressing. I'm not going to be improving my abilities to go out there as a wellness advocate and help other people. So I have to move through the fear at picking up the phone call, at talking to strangers, at talking to other people. I have to move through the fear in order to see that constant growth. So any other thoughts come to mind as you look at that list and consider, is anything uncomfortable? And for those who watch this recording later on, I want you to post below if anything on that list is uncomfortable for you. How did you react to it?
Debbie, I would say, like, for me, I know a couple of I call them my limiting beliefs, but it's something I worked through, I would say a couple of years ago, is what I believed about wealthy people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I spent a lot of time on that, working through that. So I'd have to say, if I have a weak area, that would be one of my weaknesses, is being, just taking that time to admire. I guess I don't really always pay that much attention to who I think are wealthy, because for me, wealthy is perspective.
Uh-huh.
So maybe I just need to maybe spend some more time focusing on people who I think might be wealthy and then admire what they have. I don't know. I that part is a little.
So number 10, I admire successful and wealthy people, is a bit uncomfortable. Yep. And that was the one that I got back on 2 people. You weren't one of them, Dana. That gave me feedback on that specific belief.
But
And
I
so
think
I think it's worth talking about. Go ahead.
mostly because I feel like I've worked through a lot of that. So if I had to pick a weak point out of all of these, this would be my weaker point. Um, and I think for me, those are kind of tied with the receiving because I've always been the giving. And I know God convicted me. He's like, well, you had to receive me before and I'm like, oh, yeah, I did. I did have to receive you. So that put me in a different place of being in receiving. And I loved Deb Erickson's Neuro Tool, where she had you sending out and also receiving at the same time.
Yes, that was
And
a
you
great.
have one or the other. You have to have both to be healthy.
Correct. Receiving and giving and receiving both. Exactly right. Here's my thoughts on that specific one, and here's how I responded to these two leaders that got stuck on those words, successful and wealthy. First of all, I retrospectively thought about the last 5 enrollments that I've had. And I came away in 2 cases thinking, why am I enrolling down? And anytime our confidence level drops, we enroll down. What does that mean? We get caught up in the money, or the person we're working with gets caught up in the expense of it. We haven't created value to where they're willing to spend whatever it takes because of what they're going to get out of this. And because my confidence level was not at a 9 or a 10, I enrolled down. Do you get that concept? And so when I look at people who are successful and wealthy, what do I want in my business? And something that came to mind for me was that I want to be free to give. I have a hypnobirthing class coming up, and I have, and my cost for the hypnobirthing classes is $250 per couple. And I'm about to raise my prices at the first of the year. But at any rate, $250 per couple. And I had a Hutterite woman reach out to me yesterday or the day before. I can't remember now. I think it was Wednesday that she reached out to me in the morning and said, Debbie, I'm 33 weeks pregnant with baby number 2. And she struggled to get baby number 1 here. And I worked with her a great deal to help her after several miscarriages. And so at any rate, she says, but she didn't get the natural birth that she desired. And so she said, I really want that natural birth experience. And I said, well, Sarah, it just so happens that I've got a hypnobirthing class coming up and you can join us by Zoom. So over the course of a day and a half, I went back and forth with her on this. When I told her what my price was, and in fact, I'm going to read her immediate response. It was so interesting how she responded. She said, Debbie, as a Hutterite, there's no way I would ever have access to that amount of money, of $250. So I thought about this wealthy and successful people. If money weren't an issue, I would be doing this for free anyway. So when we're free to give, when money's not an issue and we're free to give, what would we give away? And so when we look at successful, I think we can look back and we can find those. One of the examples I gave was a couple in my neighborhood who are very wealthy. They both are, they travel the world, they train corporate leaders and employees to get them on a team thing. I don't know really how to describe what they do because I've never experienced it personally. He is an author of 2 books. He seriously, in the course of a given week, he could be in 3 or 4 international locations, going from one to another training corporate executives. And he hosts a lot of retreats. They have not only their home in Draper in my neighborhood, but they have a couple of very large homes that are completely self-sustaining, off the grid, solar, septic system, propane tanks. I mean, it's all off the grid. They don't pay anything for these homes. They're all paid for, and they host big retreats there with, like for instance, every year they do the Ute football team from the University of Utah. They host and they train that team and work on mindset. So I don't know exactly how to describe what they do, but he is actually our Sunday school teacher. She's our women's teacher, one of them. And so we hear from them all the time, and I admire what they do. And it's because they are really quite wealthy that they don't have to worry about the day-to-day runnings. They just can work in their zone of excellence all day long. And so there's some things I think that to be admired for those who are successful and wealthy and humble enough to recognize from whence that came. So I think we can look at those that are wealthy and stuck up or whatever you want to say. And I think sometimes we get caught up in that aspect of it. But really, truly, I think we can learn from those who are very successful and get back to the point of, what do I want? I want to be successful too. What does that really translate into? How would I define what success means? How would I define wealth? So our own personal interaction with that is really interesting. So here's what she says. Oh, Debbie, I'll be very honest with you. As a Hutterite, I would never have access to that kind of money. Your class would be something I would absolutely love to do, but I just wouldn't be able to. Sorry. Here's my response back to her. Sarah, as a Hutterite, would you have access to a computer for 3 hours on a Thursday night? I don't know if the women have access to computers or if it's just the men. Her response was, yes, I have a laptop with Wi-Fi, but nothing like a credit card or anything like that. I said, awesome. Do you have a camera on your laptop? Could you download the free Zoom.us app onto your laptop? Okay, where did I go with her response? Where did I go with that? I went to the I believe I can, right? And then will you? Are you willing to do this if I offer it to you for free? Is where I was going with this. Now, I didn't tell her that just yet. Just yet. And she said, yes, it has a camera. I'll download Zoom in it with my husband. I'm not a computer geek. But, and then she says, well, wouldn't I have to pay? How would I do that? I can't afford $250. I don't have a checkbook. I don't have a credit card. I don't have an electronic payment method. And I said to her, I am teaching this class anyway. If you can't pay me, I still want to help. That's the moving from the I am master at managing my own mindset, right? And I believe that what we put out as we give, we will receive. Now, what if I asked Sarah, gather 4 other women that are pregnant that want to take this class with you and meet in your living room with your laptop on your Zoom link and include this in. And how about if they all pay $50? Is that possible? I haven't got there yet, but it's a possibility that I'm moving towards, okay? So that I believe people engage more if they give something. If they pay something for it, they're much more committed and able to give, right? And so I believe that's going to happen. And so I believe she will see enough value in this class that in some form, she will want to pay me for it. I hope to visit this Hutterite community. My plan was this fall. I'm not going to get there. I'm out of time. I was hoping to do it this summer before school started. I'm not out of time. I might still get there. But it's going to be going out of my way now to get there because it's not going to be an easy thing at all. I'm going to have to make the effort to get my kids in school and then take off. But I hope that as I go visit this Hutterite community, maybe I could stay with Sarah. Maybe she could host me. I don't know. I don't know what this Hutterite community is looking for. I'm expecting to kind of go take my tent and sleep mag, to be honest with you, because I know how they operate as a community. And they're very much like the Amish. They don't have any outside influence much. And they don't get really paid. Everybody participates in the community according to their talents or their zone of excellence, which I think is a beautiful plan. And so at any rate, an interesting conversation ensued back and forth with her as I said, can you, will you, are you willing to do this? And so I think we can take this belief of top producing women to a little step further this in the coming week. Okay, so jot this down. It's on my Promoting a Healer in Every Homepage. I think I thought I put it on Creating a Healer too, but go back and find it and click on the options and download it onto your computer and print it up. Okay, if you're participating in Deb Erickson's, you can find this on her website. And so I really do want to give all the credit to Deb Erickson and help you start thinking in this way, okay? That I control my focus. It is me. It is my mindset. I choose to be optimistic, positive. I choose to have a positive outcome. Whatever I need to do, my intention is set right. I'm partnered with God, whatever I need to do to be successful, that I'm engaging these belief systems, these 15 belief systems. So I hope this has been helpful. Any last minute thoughts or comments? All right, so work on creating value this week as you interact with people, and working on your mindset and creating a mindset of success and positivity. And when you recognize that you've gotten stuck, that you've hit a wall, go back and retrospectively ponder what's happened there. Are you carrying a limiting belief that you need to let go of? Are you getting stuck with fear? What's happening there that you're not progressing in the manner in which you would like to? You know what, Dana? I want you to share one thing here. Okay, you had a little interaction yesterday that turned to your good. Would you mind sharing what happened with this person that you had talked oils with, and she got on and enrolled herself, and you're doing Diamond Club, and you really wanted to enroll her with a kit so she could get some free oils, and you wanted to maximize her purchase, and then what you did to correct it. But anyway, talk about retrospectively thinking about, what did you say? What did you do? How did you create value that she independently got on doTERRA.com and enrolled herself? What did you do? Would you mind sharing that?
Yeah, so she is in my Business Network International group, so I see her every Thursday morning, and she's bought a lot of oils from me retail over the last couple years. And I've even showed her, like, we did a natural solutions class quite some time ago. Actually, it was about a year ago. And still she wasn't really sure if she wanted to do that. And so yesterday she had gotten online to see what she wanted to order from me, because she's really good about giving me a retail order pretty periodically, pretty regularly. And so she was looking up stuff. And when you're on, like, she was on my web link, and it pops up, join. Well, she's like, oh, I guess I'll just join today. And not even having thought about my, when I talked to everybody last week at BNI that I was doing Diamond Club and da da da. And so she thought she was helping me with Diamond Club, but she didn't understand all the details. And so she got on and paid the $35 and bought her 3 things that she wanted. And then she got to BNI, and she was, and I hope I didn't pop her bubble. I don't think I did, because I don't think she would have responded to me the way she did. She's like, oh, guess what? I got on and got an account today and ordered my stuff. And I'm like, oh, Afton, thank you. I wished you would have talked to me first, because there's free stuff you can have if you let me help you. And she's like, oh, she says, well, you have some pull. You could probably figure this out. So we ate our lunch and had our business meeting, and I got with her afterwards. I said, okay, I'm going to go call my account manager and see what I need to do. And she's like, okay, I got some stuff to do in town. Just text me when you figure it out. And so, of course, I called you, Debbie, and then got a hold of my Diamond Club manager, and she verified everything that I needed to do. So I texted Afton and I said, okay, where are you at? Where do you want to meet? And so we met in the Walmart parking lot, and we just called doTERRA customer service together and straightened out our order. And then I was able to email my Diamond Club manager her order number. And so that will be added to my account next week. So it'll show up. But it was kind of funny how all that worked. But in the meanwhile, when we're in the car before we called customer service, I said, well, here's the deal, Afton. I don't know if you remember, but if you get one of these kits, you don't pay that $35 fee. Plus, you're going to get a free oil. And she's like, oh, okay. So we went through the kits, and I went to my car and grabbed a couple more things just so she could smell them to see if that's what she likes, because she is all about the smell. So not so much about all the therapeutic benefits, although she's experienced the therapeutic benefits. But anyway, so we went through, and she ended up with the AromaTouch diffused kit because she could see the value of the topical application with the diffuser. So that's what she got. And then we called customer service and then just added her other items that she'd already had in her order to that. But it was really interesting to see it all lay out. So there again, if you're in doubt that you're saying it too many times to somebody, you're not.
You're not.
Because they understand and comprehend everything that you've told them.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Very good. So that was a really great example of putting it out there again and again and again. And another example of how many touches does it take before we get an enrollment, right? Because
Yes.
she's been buying for you for some time, did not see the value of a wholesale membership, and then she gets on and enrolls herself. And then the beauty of it is that doTERRA is so good to work with us, and customer service is so good to work with us too, to make it right into what we want and make us happy, right? And so they're so good to take back that order and refund it and start again with a new order and then add to it, right? So there's another good deal. So there you have an example of how to deal with such an issue in order to help them get started on the right foot. I had another enrollment that was gifted. Her brother is now a doTERRA corporate employee and a very talented young man. I love this man. He's a good friend from my mission. And so it was just interesting that he ended out here from working for doTERRA. He's been with Walmart for at least 25 years, maybe 30 years, doing what he's doing for doTERRA. And what he does something to do with watching their profit numbers, the profit goals, okay, to keep them in the green, right? To keep them out of debt. And so that's one of his big priorities. So at any rate, it's been really fun to work with John and Sarah Visser. You've probably heard their name. Last year, Dana, they sat at our gala table, if you remember John and Sarah.
I do remember them. They were so nice. Loved them.
Fantastic. And Sarah just started the cleanse this Monday. Now, I can't sell her any product. She's a doTERRA corporate employee now with her husband's work. And so I can't enroll her, but from time to time they bring me, and they brought me 2 people. This was the second. In fact, I got to call her dad today to follow up with him. So they're starting to bring me people. So that's a nice referral source, right? And when they can't enroll and they can't educate, or they don't know enough to educate, they're coming to me for education. And Sarah has called me multiple times because I adore these couple and we're good friends. And so it's been really fun. And as she brought me her sister-in-law, they had already gifted her sister-in-law so many oils that her sister-in-law did not want to do a kit. And yet in the end, she spent more money paying that $35 fee than she would have spent had she got a kit and added to it. And so, but I could not talk her into that because she already had all these oils that they had gifted her. And so we got to watch that stuff too. You know, when corporate employees give away freebies to family members and then they don't want to enroll with a kid because they've got so much already. We got to watch that scenario too. So it's interesting. But we have different experiences in life to move us forward, and I believe propel us forward in our belief system, in our belief level. Okay. And so I think this guide of 15 beliefs of top producing women is a really nice thing to pull up, post, look at it every day and consider it. Okay. So that's all I have for today. So I'm going to let you go and enjoy your day, enjoy your weekend. Reach out to lots of people this weekend and find ways to share value as a wellness advocate rather than sell people products. All right. So move into value creation instead of selling products. I love you all. Take care. I'm going to stick on as long as you want, but I'm going to stop the recording for now.